Hey, this is Notser, and we're in the Tier 9 Japanese destroyer, Kitakaze. We're on the map Land of Fire, and this is a Japanese gunboat at Tier 9. Akizuki has existed for a while at Tier 8 in the alternative DD branch, and people have really enjoyed it. It does take an investment in a commander, and this is my Akizuki commander, and it totally rocks. I really enjoy the Kitakaze at Tier 9, and the reasons are simple. It's more of the same in the Akizuki, same general maneuverability, gun system, turret traverse, size, AA protection, torpedo systems. You get torpedo reload booster. You don't have to sacrifice your smoke system for torpedo reload. It's wonderful. But on top of that, it's a Tier 9. So you get the Tier 9 and Tier 10 module. I chose the gun reload, so it's a little bit better than the Akizuki. Also, the torpedo systems on this particular ship are outstanding. It's a 1x6 torpedo launcher, whereas the Akizuki is a 1x4. And couple that with torpedo reload, I can actually get out 12 torpedoes every 2.5 minutes. And the cooldown of the torpedoes lines up perfectly with torpedo reload. So pretty much every single game, you are able to send 12 torpedoes on cooldown until, maybe 5 minutes left in the match. If you're super aggressive at the beginning, it feels great. I love having 12 Japanese torpedoes in the water versus 8. I get 4 extra torpedoes to fill up a void and hopefully do damage to enemies, and it's outstanding at doing damage to enemies. I mean, they're Japanese torpedoes. They got 12-kilometer range. You get a little bit more choices available to you at the Tier 9 and Tier 10 slot of the alternative DD branch, but you're going to use the 12 kilometers because the 12 kilometers are the best. And they live up to it. They absolutely live up to it. So in this instance, I feel like the Gorotsukuwa first, maybe the Iowa, they're going to push forward towards that gap. Clearly, I can fill that gap very effectively with 12 torpedoes. I'm just trying to decide, okay, is he going to really commit? Do I want to send against the enemy that's camping in the smoke? It's interesting. This is not a trait that I thought I would be attracted to in the Kitakaze. I wasn't attracted to it in the Akizuki. I didn't feel like there was enough torpedoes, honestly, to be very effective. Plus, the reload of the torpedoes didn't line up very well with your torpedo reload booster. But this does. And they hit really hard. They do a ton of damage. It's great. And I'm dealing with the current meta, which is light cruisers, heavy cruisers, tons of radar everywhere, camping around corners, solid cover. How do you deal with that in a gunboat that has to be stationary and in smoke pretty much the whole time? It's tricky. You got to play very elusive. If the enemy feels like they're getting a bead on you in your smoke, well, guess what? You're not going to use your smoke. And that's just the way it works. I've had to bail so many times on smoke in the Kitakaze, and honestly, I didn't need to do it quite as much in the Akizuki or previous versions of this gun firing system from smoke. But because we live in the, the radar meta world, you have to keep that in the back of your mind. And it is unfortunately a trait that will always exist until the foreseeable future. So, gunboats, it's an upgrade to the Akizuki's effectiveness. It is still that small gun caliber. You still need inertia fuse high explosive. And you still want to fire pretty much behind cover or in smoke. And you want to be so careful because players are better than they've ever been at hitting targets in smoke, blind fire. I should know. I played a couple stream games, and oh my god. Where did you guys learn to shoot completely blind into smoke? First shot, full damage salvo. I'm just like, what? I'm maneuvering back and forth, a 4th speed. I'm not giving them a stationary target where they can just practice their shot and move in. And they're still, it's insane. It's insane how effective people are at shooting into smoke now. So this is the first time we really get a chance to fire from smoke. Enemy Kid is playing around. I've got much better torpedoes than you do, Kid. And I'm just going to try and work on the enemies as they are attempting to progress towards C point. Clearly my team has A and B. And all I'm trying to do is screw with the enemy, slow them down at sea. I don't want to die. The Gorosokua first did look like he was moving this way. He does have hydroacoustic. I know what he wants, and I'm not going to give it to him. So I'm already going to disengage. You see how quick the smoke it's not a case that the Kitakaze is terrible. It's just you have to evolve your playstyle accordingly. So I bailed quickly, sent towards the Gorosokua first. Looked like he was trying to turn towards the capture. I want to lead him in that direction. I sent both sets. He could gain speed, and oh yeah, the small caliber's an issue, but if I can find my location on the 32mm part of the bow, we totally do tons of work. Doesn't matter. Massive torpedo damage. It just happens. You hit so many more torpedoes because you have 6 on the launcher. And it times out so well, almost perfectly, with my torpedo reload booster. And I just love it. Look at this. Spotted torpedoes, no big deal. It's just you've covered the area full of torpedoes. And it's intimidating. It's difficult for players to deal with. See that enemy Iowa? He took a torpedo. It caused him to flood. He had to put it out. Once he put it out, he is completely vulnerable to fire. And I'm like, man, I really want to shoot him. So I figure, you know what? Enemy's disengaging. I've got to be comfortable openly firing. Of course I want to fire on this Iowa. I want to get some damage. I want to get the kill. I think I deserve the kill after what happened and Friendly was able to take him out. Great job, Amagi. Not going to complain at all. We are quite literally dealing with the majority of the enemy in this flank, and it's worked out really well. You can't overextend. You can't just blindly fire forever. That's just... The world has moved away from that. World of Warships I'm speaking about. But their guns, really good reload. The shell arc is workable. You've got to hit the superstructure mostly. You're trying to set fires. You're not going to set that many. I only got 2. I got a really, really low fire chance. I think it's like 4%. I would need to invest in the extra signal flag to get it back up to 5 because inertia fuse takes it down 1. Tirpitz takes a little bit. He puts out the fire and Friendly finishes him off. It's a really, really powerful ship. It's great at killing DDs. Outstanding at killing DDs. DDs, you got to be careful. If you are caught out by one of these, you are in trouble. Kitakaze, Hiragumo, Akizuki, all of them incredibly devastating to DDs that allow them to be seen. So, looks like the enemy is moving back. They clearly have no chance at this game. We're going to go in and capture the base, see if I can get a little bit more damage on the target. But I really enjoy the guns, really enjoy the torpedoes. Good maneuverability, very usable. Torpedo reload's great, times up perfectly. I love that it's not a part of the smoke, honestly. It's probably one of the most frustrating things about the mainline Japanese DDs is that they have to choose the Shiratsu. All these ships have to choose. Do I want to use smoke? Or do I want to use torpedo reload booster? Well, if you go without smoke, you're going to have a really tough time with aircraft carriers. You're going to have a really tough time with ships that have much better concealment than you. And it's pretty much not an option. But for these gun systems, they basically get to benefit from torpedo reload being just an extra baked-in skill. They have the same Japanese 12-kilometer range torpedoes that you expect. Reload is awful, of course, but high-damage torpedoes are very useful if they get a strike or 2. That can be the difference between winning and losing the game, just 1 or 2. And I have pretty much been very consistent every game. With the 1x6, I've hit at least 1 or 2 torpedoes. So I don't really have any issue with this particular ship. Now, the Tier 10, we can talk about that. It is terrible at turning, horrible at turning, but it probably has the highest DPM I've ever seen in the game. I was able to do 7 citadels to a Worcester in about 5 seconds. It was really scary how fast I killed him. Now, we don't have that quite levels of power here. We only have 4 gun turrets. That has 5. 100mm guns. This only has 4x2, but still, it's outstanding. Really capable in the capture. You know, concealment's good. It's not the best, but it's very usable. I think it's 5.9. You'll see it early on in this video if you want to confirm. But it's very nice. Tier 10 loses a little bit more concealment. It is a longer ship, so this is just right. It's got the maneuverability, the gun systems, the torpedoes. It's got it all. Good health pool. Obviously, I'm using survivability experts, so keep that in mind. I'm getting about 3,000 more than I probably would. But yeah, outstanding. I really enjoyed the Kitakaze. Very capable. I'll try and show off the Hiragumo tomorrow. And the Haida's going to be shown off. That's a great ship, too, for all you Canadians who want to get in on the action. I think it's worth it. But I hope you enjoyed this first impression. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.